Since the 80s, hip-hop artists have been making deals with various brands. Think back to Run DMC with Adidas sneakers, or years later, Diddy with Ciroc vodka, or 50 Cent with the vitamin water Formula 50. Due to the controversy around certain things rappers have gotten into, there's been a lot of times where companies cut ties with them in order to defend their brand from more scrutiny and keep a positive image. I'm going to be going over some of the times that happened to rappers, whether due to some backlash regarding their lyrics, legal issues that they were going through, or other situations. Ludacris. Back before Luda was known for being in a bunch of Fast and Furious films, he was known as a rapper, a highly successful one at that. In 2002, he had an advertising campaign with Pepsi, which was cut short due to Fox News commentator Bill O'Reilly. In August 2002, Riley called for a boycott on Pepsi products because of their deal with Luda on account of Luda's music apparently. The typical cliches they use against hip-hop, like it glamorizes violence and drug use and degrades women. Due to this, Pepsi wound up cutting ties with Ludacris. However, ironically enough, in 2004, Bill was hit with sexual harassment claims. Luda also addressed him on the track Blow It Out from his album Chicken and Beer, released in October 2003 with the lines, "Shout out to Bill O'Reilly, I'ma throw you a curve. You mad cause I'm a thief and got away with words. I'ma start my own beverage, it'll calm your nerves." Which clearly seems to be a reference to the lost Pepsi deal. Over 20 years later, in August 2023, Ludacris was asked during an interview what the most challenging moment in his career was, and his answer was this situation right here with Bill O'Reilly causing him to lose his endorsement with Pepsi. Understandable. Imagine being a rapper who just started getting what was likely a multi-million-dollar deal, and this political commentator causes you to lose it. I believe that's called hating. T.I. This is someone that could be on this list on more than one occasion thanks to the various deals he's inked and the numerous legal issues he's had throughout his career. One of those being his infamous 2007 arrest for attempting to purchase multiple guns and silencers from someone who wound up being an informant. Months later, T.I. pled guilty to the weapon charges and had to do prison time, community service, and pay fines as well. During this time, he had a deal with General Motors, which they backed out of due to the arrest. Besides this one, T.I. also lost deals with brands like Remy Martin, as well as Axe body spray throughout his career due to his run-ins with the law. Unlike with Luda, I can't say I'm angry at the company for dropping him or anything, considering getting arrested for guns just isn't a good look. And if he went to prison, how could he be much help to them to begin with? Akon. Back in 2007, Akon had a deal with Verizon, one of the biggest telecommunication companies in the country, and at this point, it's fair to say he was probably one of the biggest artists in the country also, having 2 Platinum Plus selling albums and several hit singles under his belt, not to mention producing several songs for other artists as well. That deal came crumbling down, however, due to the backlash from the incident where Akon was performing at a club in Trinidad, during which he had some provocative dancing, or pretty much dry humping, with a female from the audience as part of an alleged contest. The female in question, however, wound up being a teenager, 14 or 15 at the time, according to various sources. Either way, the club has an age requirement that she certainly did not meet, so the question is how she even got in there to begin with. Akon issued an apology shortly afterwards and admitted that he did not know her age. Verizon, however, still cut ties, but really Gwen Stefani would be taking a loss here as Verizon was sponsoring her tour that Akon was an opening act for. He still remained on the tour despite the incident though. This is something I'd have to say is on the club and the parents more so than Akon. If their policy is you gotta be over a certain age to enter, then proper identification should be checked to prevent situations like this or worse from occurring. Chris Brown. You might say he's a singer, but yeah, he raps too, so he's on this list. Chris Brown had an endorsement deal with Wrigley's for their gum. Remember that commercial back in 2008 with him doing all that dancing with a pack of Double Mint gum? Well, after the infamous physical altercation he got into with his then girlfriend Rihanna on February 8th, 2009, that changed. It was one of the biggest things in the news at the time. Pictures of Rihanna's face after the incident circulated the internet and caused an outrage, and not only was Chris sentenced to probation and community service for it, but he was dropped only months after the Wrigley's commercial was released. I'm a man that says, hey, things happen and I can forgive most of the time. But I must admit, this looked pretty dang bad for Chris. People for years would continue to talk about it on social media especially. Him and Rihanna, however, wound up getting back together a few years later for a little while, so some of those Chris Brown haters might have felt a little bit silly after all that. Lil Wayne. If you watched my previous video on some of the most controversial lines in rap songs, then you already know what happened with Wayne, but let's get into it again real quick. On the remix to the 2013 song Karate Chop by Future, Wayne has the lines, "Pop a lot of pain pills, about to put rims on my skateboard wheels. Yeah, beat that pussy up like Emmett Till." At this time, Wayne had a deal with Mountain Dew, which is owned by PepsiCo. Once again, if you don't know who Emmett Till is, he's the 14-year-old black teen that was brutally killed by white men for allegedly speaking to a white woman in Mississippi in 1955. These lines by Wayne didn't go over well with the family, and they reached out to PepsiCo. Thanks to the backlash, they released a statement saying that they would no longer be working with Wayne. People like Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and Reverend Al Sharpton also chimed in, putting pressure on Pepsi. I pretty much said how I feel about the line in the previous video, and him losing the endorsement isn't too surprising to me. Speaking of Mountain Dew though, they weren't only pressured to drop Wayne, but another rapper around this time as well had gotten into issues and lost their deal. Tyler, the Creator. Name another mainstream rapper around this time that was more controversial than Tyler, the Creator and the group Odd Future. Side note, Odd Future is actually the first rap concert that I ever been to, so this was a pretty interesting controversy to see a couple years later. They were a bunch of wild youths with provocative lyrics, unique style, and music that's different from the typical LA gangbanging raps that they had become known for in hip-hop. Mountain Dew had a series of 3 commercials in 2013 revolving around a goat, which was voiced by Tyler. The third one was even directed by Tyler and was considered misogynistic and stereotypical against African Americans. The goat, named Felicia, is shown in a police lineup among several young men, all black. The woman that's supposed to be pointing out who assaulted her refuses to point out the goat since she's scared of the repercussions and runs out of the room saying she can't do it. Get it? Because it's Mountain Dew? Well, yeah. Basically, Dr. Boyce Watkins and Tyler had a back and forth on Twitter because of this, and it was quite the controversy and deemed as racist by some. The commercials wound up being pulled because of the backlash. It was rumored that a 4th commercial was in the works, but never aired due to the controversy. However, that hasn't seemed to have ever been confirmed. My opinion? Yeah, it was funny. Tyler has that kind of humor. Sure, it doesn't appeal to everyone, but he didn't do anything to warrant losing the deal to me. Cardi B. Well known for her appearance on Love and Hip Hop New York, her marriage to Offset from the Migos, and her social media persona is definitely no stranger to social media outrage. In September 2022, she revealed that she lost a multi-million-dollar deal with Call of Duty because she was dealing with court for the 2018 incident where she allegedly sent people to assault 2 bartenders at a bar in Queens. She sent the following tweet regarding the endorsement. "My stupid decisions from the past caused me to miss out on money now. I had a multi-million-dollar Call of Duty deal on the table that I couldn't take because of court. Guys, think twice about those quick decisions. Lesson learned." So clearly, she recognized the loss and hopefully will do better the next time opportunity comes knocking. What kind of deal was she going to get for the series anyway? A Cardi B skin? A Cardi B gun? I wonder. Travis Scott. On November 5th, 2021, the Astroworld Festival incident occurred, which led to the deaths of nearly a dozen people and many more injured. Some blame Travis for being the one behind the festival and continuing to perform while the mayhem was going on. Some blame it on the security at the venue or for it being understaffed and the festival having far too many attendees. Regardless of the reason, several people lost their lives and people would have to pay for it, quite literally. Due to the backlash around the situation, multiple lawsuits were filed against those involved, including Travis Scott, Drake, who was also there performing with Travis, Live Nation, Apple Music, and others. Various brands Travis had deals with backed away from him as well due to the situation. Around this time, he had deals with companies like McDonald's, Fortnite, General Mills, and Mega 64, who all dropped him. This one is a tragic accident, and I'm not going to say whether or not I think Travis deserved to lose his endorsements. The Baby. In 2021, at Rolling Loud, DaBaby made the infamous comment about HIV, AIDS, and gay people that went viral and got him a lot of social media backlash.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas, lights up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air.
Many artists like Elton John and Questlove made posts expressing their disagreement with his statements, and a few, namely Boosie Badass and T.I., came to his defense. However, due to the backlash, DaBaby wound up losing multiple deals, like with the fashion brand Boo Human, as well as his deal with Burger King. On top of that, he was removed from the remix of the Dua Lipa song Levitating, and was also removed from several festivals like Lollapalooza. What is one of the most enlightening things to take away from this is what comedian Dave Chappelle said regarding the situation. During one of his stand-up specials, he essentially stated that the public seems more offended that DaBaby offended gay people than the fact that DaBaby shot and killed a man in Walmart back in 2018.
I do believe, and I'll make this point later, that the kid made a very egregious mistake. I will acknowledge that. But, you know, a lot of the LGBTQ community doesn't know DaBaby's history. He's a wild guy. He once shot a nigga and killed him in Walmart. Oh, this is true. Google it. DaBaby shot and killed a nigga in Walmart in North Carolina. Nothing bad happened to his career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
Granted, that situation is one that DaBaby was found to be in self-defense. It speaks volumes on the current social climate, especially when it comes to black men and hip-hop in particular. DaBaby did wind up apologizing for offending anyone and was allowed to perform again at Rolling Loud. Now, before I get to this next rapper on the list, which I'm sure y'all can guess by now who it could be, I'd like to take a moment out to remind y'all to click the like button, share the video, and check the links in the description box below to check out other videos, follow the channel on other platforms, and of course consider becoming a channel member or patron to unlock certain perks and help support the channel further. It is truly appreciated. Last but certainly not least, we have another one of the most recent incidents. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, went on another of his infamous rants. This one got him in some real hot water though, as it was considered by many to be quite anti-Semitic. Certain groups don't play around. If you know, you know. I don't think I need to repeat the things he said, but the statements were definitely enough to make several companies stop working with him. Because of all the statements made and the backlash surrounding them, Ye lost his deal with Adidas for the Yeezy brand sneakers. He also lost deals or was boycotted by several other companies as well because of the situation, probably more than any other artist on this list. I'll just name some of them that stopped working with him in some capacity. Balenciaga, Gap, Adidas, Foot Locker, Def Jam, who was the distributor for his label Good Music, also cut ties with him, and even JP Morgan and Chase, who he banked with, closed his account. A whole bank refused to take his money. That's extreme to me. Not to mention, he was also banned from Instagram and Twitter. Can you think of another rapper that has been this publicly lambasted and had so many corporations cut ties with them? I sure can't think of one. Once again, that was just 10, but I'm sure there's more. Do you think they were fair? It's often said that all publicity is good publicity, but if that's the case, why do rappers often get dropped from business deals with these brands? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these situations. As for myself, situations like the one of Ludacris come across as pure racism and hatred of our culture, and Tyler the Creator losing his deal over the commercial was ridiculous. Situations like T.I. and Cardi B, on the other hand, are a bit more understandable, as those were legal matters that blocked their business, and they've both basically admitted that they should do better. As far as Ye goes, I guess Ye is gonna be Ye. Some things I definitely agreed with, but some of those other ones, he's on his own with. What's the next list you'd like to see?